Hi there, Rick Yon speaking. We've been talking about studying the Word of God and doing so by using a map. The big question is, where do you get the maps? Well, some Bibles, in fact most Bibles, have maps in the back. This is a very old Bible. It's one I used when I was still preaching. And it does have some maps in the back, but they're only 4 or 5, and they're not really that good. So I would not use an old Bible. Some of the newer Bibles, especially study Bibles, have some real good maps in the back. There's another route that you can go, and that is to purchase a Bible atlas. Now, this is the one I use for the class that I teach at Colorado Christian University. It's William Schlegel's Satellite Bible Atlas. It's the one on, this is the Jezreel Valley. This is the one that we have on the video. It is really good. It gives you some topography as well as the various locations from a satellite perspective. I think that runs somewhere around $25. Another one I found, and I like even better, is a Zondervan Atlas of the Bible by Carl Rasmussen. And the reason I like this is that it has a number of topographical maps. What do I mean by that? Well, you can see elevation. In fact, here's one in the back around the Sea of Galilee. And let's see, can you see that? So that gives you some topography, shows you the hills, the mountains, the valleys, and there are a number of those throughout Rasmussen's book. The trouble is, this one runs $42.99. So a better idea is to get the same thing in a paperback, and this is only $16.99. Has the very same maps that one does. Of course, they are all a lot smaller, but you can always enlarge them. So I would encourage you to get a Bible Atlas, but if you don't want to spend any money, that's fine too. Just Google these maps. Go to Google and put in Israel in the time of Christ, Israel in the time of King David, Israel in the time of the patriarchs or Abraham, Israel in the time of the 12 tribes. And you're going to find all kinds of maps that you can use, and you can just cut and paste for your own edification, or if you're deciding to teach others by using the map, that's the way to do it. Again, I love my topographical map that I have up here. I showed you earlier on the Holy Land, where you really see the valleys and the hills. Now, most of what you read about in the Bible is confined to a very small piece of real estate that we call Israel. In fact, if you were to look at the United States and look at Israel, well, Israel would be lost in the United States because it's about the same size as New Jersey. So I'd say from Genesis up through the Gospels, you can use those maps. It's all dealing with that land of Israel. Now, when you get into the epistles, now you're going beyond the land of Israel. You're going into Turkey, you're going into Greece, you're going into Europe, other locations, but most of the Bible's dealing with the land of Israel. I hope this has been helpful. When I encourage you to study the Word of God using maps, this is what I'm talking about. And you don't have to pay any money to do that by just using Google, or you can pay some money and get a Bible atlas. By the way, there's one other thing I want to mention. If you download Google Earth, you can actually go to a number of these places. You could download Google Earth and you type in Capernaum to see what Capernaum looks like today. That was Jesus' place of ministry. Or Nazareth, place where he grew up. Or some of these other biblical sites. Use Google Earth and you can actually go there and walk around. And the Bible really comes to life when you do that. Well, I hope this has been helpful. Again, study of the Word of God using maps, and maps dealing with the time frame. You want the map during the days of Jesus if you're studying the 4 Gospels. You want the map dealing with the 12 tribes when you are studying the Old Testament. So just keep that in mind. Thanks for watching.